What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the wrestling channel. It's been a while. I've been neglecting this boy here. We're going to get back on it soon. Now. We're back on it. More content over here. What better way to start than talking about Summerslam 2024? Now, don't let Cage Match tell you that it sucks, because let's be honest, most WWE fans don't use Cage Match. Cage Match is saying this show was like a 5.3 last time I checked. Brother, this show was good. This show was good, man. It's not a favourite show of the year, but it's been good. It was good. It was really good. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the show. Let's talk about the biggest party of the summer. Let's talk about that return. And let's talk about all the wrestling. So, the first match of the night was for the WWE Women's World Championship, with Rhea Ripley finally returning to get her hands on Liv Morgan, accompanied to the ring by Dirty Dom Mysterio, who I have been singing the praises of this whole time. I've been cheering for his innocence. If you watched the video over on Ryan's channel, and we're breaking down our sort of theories and our predictions for Clash at the Castle, I had a big long theory that pertained to the Judgment Day and the eventual end of the Judgment Day, which I did predict would come last night. It's a little spoiler for later on. But I was singing the praises of Dirty Dom. I thought we were going to get a Priest single babyface solos run. We're going to get Dom and Rhea splintering off as a duo, and then maybe like Finn and JD and Liv for a bit. But I was wrong. That dirty rat fuck turned his back on Rhea Ripley. No, this was a really good match. I think both women played their part in this very, very well. I think obviously Rhea is the returning conqueror. The match began with like a cat and mouse game of Liv just trying to run away from Rhea. And it was, really good and really impactful, the way that you could see that she's terrified of Rhea. Eventually she gets the upper hand and we're kind of throwing her into the ropes after some trickery. Throw her at the turnbuckle rather. Rhea then holds her shoulder. She's screaming, "It's out, it's out, it's out." This playing off of the injured shoulder. And Liv works over the shoulder. Rhea keeps trying to fight back. Eventually goes to the outside and just throws her body into the announce table to relocate her dislocated shoulder. And I was like, this is fucking insane. And then she does it later on into the turnbuckle, and we've already seen the spot. It's just diminishing returns. I didn't care what she did at that time. This was a really fun match. Liv is a perfect chicken shit heel. You had Dom, sort of throwing Rhea out the way of a suicide dive and doing all these things to make us truly believe that he's not a piece of shit. Then at the ending of the match, Rhea goes outside, grabs a chair, is ready to swing away on Liv, and Dom grabs it off of her on the apron. She's like, "You can't win your title this way. You can't win your title this way." Slides it back into the ring, distracts the ref. It's in a perfect position for an Oblivion on the chair. And Liv wins with some Dom interference and some Dom help, and then he kissed Liv on the ramp and they walked away. Now, remember in 2019 when they announced for a house show Nia Jax versus Jon Moxley or Dean Ambrose? I completely forgot he's ever been known as not known as Jon Moxley. They announced Ambrose versus Jax for a house show, and the cowards pulled out last minute. Fucking give me Rhea Ripley versus Dirty Dom Mysterio on pay-per-view, I swear to God. And I'm going to be honest, don't have it be an out-and-out squash in 3 minutes. I want to see them hit a 619. I want to see her kick out at 1. I want to see them have a match on pay-per-view. It has to happen. It absolutely has to happen. I really thought we were going to see the beginning of the Dom, not necessarily redemption arc, because he would still probably play the same character. But, it kind of feels like people were booing Dom as like being in on the show. And now we're back to booing him because we hate him. No, that match was really good. That match was really fun. It ultimately set up another interesting story going forward. And it began the fracturing of the Judgment Day, which we saw later on in the night, which I thought was for the best. Because the Judgment Day story has now been going on for 2 years now. It's been going on for a while, maybe even longer. The Judgment Day story has been going on for a while. The Judgment Day story has been going and going and going and going, and it's been fun, but it just kind of feels like they're running out of ideas. Like, why is Carlito in the Judgment Day? Is he even in the Judgment Day? Because he wasn't. Was he there last night? He might have been there last night in the background with nothing to say. You had the fun stuff with Truth, but everyone has kind of reinvented themselves in that group and kind of became bigger than that group, and it felt like the right time for this to move on. I think you look at the improvement in Priest, especially over the last couple of months. You look at just the insane heights that Rhea's gone to as probably, arguably the most important wrestler in that company behind Cody and Roman over the last couple of years, and arguably the most popular in the company behind Cody over the last couple of years. She's going to grow bigger than this group. Balor's completely reinvented himself and has shown that he still has that next level in him still. Dom has just become an absolute revelation as a character since his joining of the Judgment Day. And that's all the members of the Judgment Day. And they've all kind of outgrown it, but every single member of the Judgment Day has outgrown it, I feel, and it feels like the right time for this to finally stop. And I'm very excited to see Rhea get her hand, not even on Liv anymore. I don't really care about that story. Liv can now go after, like, other people can go after Liv in that championship, but the main story for me is that Rhea wants to kill Dom. And I love that. It's going to be so good. Second match on the card, then we had Braun Breaker getting his second shot at Sami Zayn's Intercontinental Championship, and oh my goodness, he killed him. No, I think it was the right choice. I think Braun Breaker has kind of shown with his reactions from the crowd. People love him. He's a Steiner. He's a freak of nature. He's just this explosive, powerful wrestler. He's Goldberg but good. He's great. I think Braun Breaker's great, and he's a lot more kind of well-rounded than a lot of people give him credit for. And I think having him as the big mountain to topple, the big beast to conquer at the top of the division is very interesting again, because he poses a different challenge from Gunther. Gunther is like the most sound professional wrestler of all time. There is no flaws in the game of Gunther. So when he was the Intercontinental Champion, yeah, he's big and he's a brawler and he's a brute, but he's like the most proficient and like learned professional wrestler ever. He knows everything in every way to chop you down, whereas Braun Breaker's just going to run at you full speed. And I think that poses an interesting challenge for whoever is going to take him on over the next couple of months. Sami's reign was a lot of fun, but I just don't think, unless they wanted to really, really, really make that the workhorse title again and have, big 20, 30 minute classics, and I'm not saying that has to be that belt, but I just kind of feel like Sami is the ultimate babyface. It was great in the chase. Obviously, it was great in the chase. And I didn't think his reign got stale, but I do think he should have dropped it to Gable, because I think Gable is more interesting than Braun Breaker as the champion, because Gable can do those sort of 30-minute technical classics, open challenges and things like that, and he can also add the wrinkle of doing them as a heel. But I'm very interested to see what Braun Breaker brings to this reign going forward. When you look at that Raw mid-card scene, it's absolutely stacked. You've got guys like Dragunov, who obviously had the match with on Raw. You've got guys like Balor, who have obviously been there for a long time. I know he just is a main eventer, but I even think, a guy like Priest could be an interesting opponent for a month against him. We can see his dominance by having him kill one of the tag team champions, but not Finn. Even have a fun match where, we get to see R-Truth show that he's one of the best ever. I think Breaker's the kind of wrestler who everyone's style works against him, because everyone is trying everything to take him down. Whether you're a high flyer and you're trying to be quicker than him, or if you're a technical wrestler and you're trying to neutralize his speed and his power, or if you're another big guy saying, I can be a big guy better than you can. I think it poses a very interesting challenge for the rest of Raw to sort of go after for that Intercontinental Championship, and I'm very excited to see where his reign goes. We went from mid-card title to mid-card title as we then got Logan Paul defending his United States Championship against LA Knight, and it's not been a good week for Logan Paul. First of all, he engaged in some misinformation and transphobia, and then he was like, oopsies. Anyway, I'm going to completely just ignore and shirk any responsibility of the bullshit that I did in this witch hunt of this cis woman, and then be like, yeah, but trans women shouldn't compete in women's sports, when there's no trans women in the fucking video that he was talking about, and just kind of, outed himself as just being just a bit of a piece of shit, which is like a shame, because, I've not necessarily done the 180 on him entirely, but like he was seeming like less of a dickhead than his brother, which I know isn't hard right enough, but it's fine, because LA Knight is the US champ. Now, I do think, personally, LA Knight should have won this at WrestleMania. I think Logan with the belt is fun, but I think he only defended it twice. I think he only had four matches, including the one where he beat Mysterio for it. And I think he's great in ring. I've spoke at length about how much I think Logan Paul is a very, very valuable asset to WWE. It doesn't mean I like what he's been up to in these last couple of days, but I do think, just in general, he's an invaluable asset to that company. and it only helps that he's really good in the ring. But we needed a US champ who was there more often. We needed someone who's going to be on TV all the time. We need someone that the fans can really get behind. And this is a match that Logan Paul himself has been wanting since last year. He said on Impulsive last summer that basically the fans will never turn on LA Knight and will probably never accept him. And it just kind of feels like the perfect matchup. This match was a lot of fun. I think LA Knight gets a lot of stick because people are like, oh, LA Knight's boring in the ring. He's not. I really like LA Knight as like in the ring. He's not one of those guys who people are like, oh, LA Knight, and then the bell rings. I'm like, brother, have you watched Jey Uso? Okay, don't talk to me about when the bell rings, because people have Jey Uso profile pictures on Twitter.com. I just think LA Knight's style is such a throwback. He's such a like 80s 90s heavyweight wrestler, body slams and big fucking play to the audience, and that works because he has this larger than life personality. And not everyone has to hit the fucking triple double standing moonsault. It's fine. And he just succeeds and excels in his role. I think he's an absolutely fantastic professional wrestler, and he's going to bring so much more depth to that SmackDown mid-card scene, especially when Logan is showing up to SmackDown maybe once every few months, then he gets in the next feud, and then he's on TV quite a lot, and then he's off for like a month or so. I just think having the title there all the time visually is good, because SmackDown was relying heavily on that championship being there and being good for 3 years, and then they got a full-time world champ. There was a few months where it was a part-time, there was like no champion consistently there on SmackDown. I'm very, very happy that LA Knight has won this championship, just for the quality of the show and the betterment of the company going forward. Logan Paul had a good run, had some really good matches, but it's LA Knight's time, and I'm very happy that he is now the US champ. We then get to the first match of the night that I didn't really love, and that was Nia Jax versus Bayley. Now, maybe it was because it was spoiled on me. I opened Instagram and saw Nia with the championship, and I got sad. So maybe it was because it was spoiled on me, and also possibly it could be the fact that I'm not there every single week watching Raw and SmackDown every single week, but I just don't necessarily feel like, don't get me wrong, the work Nia has been doing on this run is absolutely night and day to the Nia that we knew. She's improved massively. She is much more entertaining and much better to watch. But I just don't really feel like Bayley's reign was allowed to get off the ground, which is such a shame, because to me she felt the most over she has in a long time, possibly even comparable to Bayley Buddy's level of just fucking insanely over. And I just don't ever feel like they truly allowed her reign to be fleshed out and to be something. You look at how good the story with Damage Control was from the inception of Damage Control, and Bayley bringing these people in and bringing them back, to them turning their back on her, and to her winning at WrestleMania, to this fucking huge ovation. They made such a big deal out of Bayley's rise to that championship. Like, they tried to get Paramore there, and went, we're sorry, but here we've licensed a Hayley Williams song because it's as good as we can do at this moment. We're sorry. They did everything to make that win feel special, and then did nothing to make the reign feel special. And I'm not necessarily against Nia as champ, and I think it's very interesting that she has a sort of alliance with Stratton, and obviously Tiffany Stratton has the Money in the Bank, and that's probably where that'll go. Probably just do Alexa Nia story again, but this time Nia's the champ, I guess. I don't know, it's probably going to be that, and I'm not against that. I just don't really think Bayley had, there's nothing that made this reign special. The match at Clash was really good, I really enjoyed that, but I just don't think they cared about making Bayley's reign feel special the way that they cared about making Bayley's win feel special. Then we got to the match we've all been waiting for. Now, I was very vocal in my dislike for Seth being added to this match, because realistically, this match should have just been Brock versus Cena at SummerSlam. Like, Drew finally gets his hands on Punk. Punk is finally cleared. Punk finally steps in the ropes to Drew, and Drew just kills him. Like, he should have just murdered him, and that should have been how this match went. But they inserted Seth into it, which I was not a fan of. I get it. The feud is the three of them, and if Seth and Punk didn't get injured, I was fully but I would have assumed the plan would have been like a four corners match, Priest as World Heavyweight Champion, and then the other three guys at Clash. I would just assume that's where that would have went. You had, obviously Punk costing Drew. He just won the title, then he, leathered him, and then he cashes in, and he stops him from cashing in, and all of these things have happened. And then there's the added wrinkle of the friendship bracelet, which people on Twitter talking about the friendship bracelet. Have you ever felt the loving touch of a human? Oh, why would he care so much? That is something that one of his fans made him, right? And it's got his wife and his dog's name on it, and it's, it's something stupid, but it's personal to him because it's about his family and it reminds him of his family. And Drew McIntyre beat him bloody in his hometown and took that from him. Have you ever felt the loving touch of another human being? Oh, why was he so care? Why would he care about this? Brother, his mortal enemy stole something that he looks at to bring him comfort because it reminds him of his family who are not on the road. I'm getting hot again. You want to talk about that? You want to talk crazy about that, but say nothing about the fucking water torture at the end of the show. But I thought this match was a lot of fun, and I think, as for someone who was very vocal about not wanting Seth involved in this match, Seth in this match worked Seth in this match worked against all the odds because Seth is so fucking good. Like when Drew was getting ready to do the guillotine, you call it, the swing up, the slingshot into the ropes, but not the ropes, it's the steel frame of the ring, and and Seth just being like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then he turns his back and gets in the ring so he doesn't see it. Drew's getting his head slammed into the steps by Punk, and Seth's down tying his shoe, not paying attention. They're beating each other up on the side, like outside the ring, and Seth's like doing the Jushin Liger pose in the corner. Like, it was so good. And his slutty little ref shirt, he was great in this. And it all culminated the way that it kind of should have. The bracelet fell off. Seth picked it up and kind of instinctively put it on as he's calling the match. Seth also stops Drew from killing Punk with the chair. Or no, he stops him with the chair, and then Drew talks shit, and then he goes to hit Drew, ducks, and he stops himself from hitting Punk, and he throws it out, and it's a whole thing. And I really like this because I don't typically like special referee spots, because it's always like, they're always like, oh, are they going to call it down the middle because that's their friend and their mortal enemy, or are they going to call it down the middle because that's their two friends? But in this one, Seth has nothing to lose here, because if it's their two friends, you then do the whole, oh, he hit me with a chair, you didn't look, stuff like that. Whereas Seth is like, bro, boys, go on ahead. Boys, do it. Kill each other. Please, for me, do it. Seth was great in this, and I think he added a lot to this match. It wasn't the best match of all time, but I really, really enjoyed it. The finish came, so Seth has picked up the friendship bracelet and put it on. And Punk, basically has Drew beat. Has him up for the GTS, and he sees Seth wearing it. Throws him off, gets in his face. Oh, also, Punk should have won a minute in. Drew has him in the corner, and he's kicking him, and Seth then goes 1, 2, 3, and then he goes 5, and then he pulls him off at 5. Seth, that's a Punk win, babe. Punk win. But apart from that, just blatant oversight by a horrendously underqualified referee. He did a really good job throughout the match. Punk gets in his face. The pair of them start, squaring up to each other over, the bracelet. Punk then picks up Seth, go to sleep, takes the friendship bracelet off him, goes over to Drew, kicks him right in his balls, Claymore, and that's the win. Both men obviously got multiple visual wins over each other. Seth counted 5, so Punk should have won. But it was a really good, fun match. It's not changing the world, but I thought it was a lot of fun. Was it my favourite match of the night? No. That's the thing. I think every match here, I don't think this show wasn't... There's no match from this show that I'm going to go back to, a lot. Maybe the Punk match, maybe the next match we'll talk about, maybe LA Knight, maybe Liv. But it was all good, solid, heavy, high 7, light 8s, except for 2 matches. And I think that's kind of what the marker of the show was. It felt like it was moving everything along and sort of setting up what's next, but there was no real standout from this, the way that your Manias had all those standout matches, and And, Money in the Bank had a standout match. Like, I just, it was fun and it was good. And this is the last time of the night that it was, as far as a match goes, that it was good. We had Gunther and Damian Priest. The King of the Ring, the Ring General Gunther, against Damian Priest for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now, earlier in the night, Priest, tempers were high in the Judgment Day in the spooky room. He was looking for Dom, he was going to kill him, and Finn's like, whoa. We'll find him. We'll sort him out. You've got a match to prepare for. Away you go. And then before the match, Finn's like, I can't find him, he must have just left, but if you need me out there, brother, I'll be out there. And he's like, nah, it's fine, I can beat Gunther on my own. Bitch, what? No one can. But that's besides the point. Match starts. The two of them just baiting each other. They were I really enjoyed this match. I think this was match of the night. Now that I'm thinking more about this match, this was match of the night. This was fucking great. It's Gunther and Damian Priest. They're two big lads. They throw big heavy strikes and they just do big lad things. And I love that. Just love that. One man's chest started bleeding from chops. Guess who it was? It wasn't Priest. Made the visual of the eventual win with Gunther holding the title and just blood on his chest. So there's a spoiler. Gunther won, obviously. But Priest put up a fucking great fight. Like, that's the thing. I think a lot of people, we laughed at Priest as Senior Money in the Bank. But in this reign, he's had just so many good matches. And I think this is, a real show that he can be that main event guy and he can be trusted to be at that level. You just need to let him go out there and just let him do the things that he does well, which is big lad wrestling. Jesus, I love big lad wrestling. It was a great match. Gunther is Gunther, probably the best professional wrestler in the world, not named Bryan Danielson or Corazon de Chapel Roan, obviously. That's a dumb joke, but I'm leaving it in. So it was just two titans clashing, and I thought this was fucking great. Anyway, Priest finally Finn gets involved. There's shenanigans with Priest. He's like, no, I can do it. Priest finally has him beat, kills him with everything, and then a big mean south of heaven. Gunther he's meant to roll towards the ropes. He doesn't, and then Priest pushes him a whole another 270 degrees towards the rope instead of pulling him this way. And then he grabs the inside leg. You bloody fool! And then Finn jumps up and puts Gunther's leg over the ropes. The ref sees it. It gets shown on a replay on the screen, and Priest is watching it like a ref at the VAR screen, just like, fucking what's going on there? Jesus, he's done that to me, has he? Right, sound. I'm going to kill him now. And then he just turns around, takes his eye off the ball, goes to kill him, gets put in a sleeper, hulks out of the sleeper, and then goes back after Finn. And then Gunther's like, no, you bastard, come here. One of them, fucking powerbomb, sleeper, night-night. Gunther is the new World Heavyweight Champion. So I'm going to put two photos on screen now. Here is Gunther the night that he won the Intercontinental Championship. Here he is last night with the World Heavyweight Championship. And I'm going to be honest, if I knew how to edit, I would go, and then we'll move that one over here. And here he is with the UK Championship, but I don't. So imagine I did that and imagine it was cool. Anyway, copy and paste. Just copy and paste, bro. Just copy paste that motherfucker. The exact same story, the exact same run for even longer, for 700 days, bro. But the final match of the night was saved by two men. 29 minutes and 10 seconds. Like 40 minutes when you include entrances. First of all, let's not pretend that Cody Rhodes isn't the funniest professional wrestler of all time. That entrance when he gets off the bus, then he walks Pharaoh for a bit, and then he meets Arn Anderson, and Arn's like, I brought you some friends along. I know you got friends. I brought your friends, Cody. It's 4 angry island boys. And then we knew who two of the friends were. We knew who the third one was, obviously, as well. And then he fucking meets someone and gives them Pharaoh and takes off his tracksuit jacket and puts on his American Nightmare jacket. And then he goes to Gorilla and someone hands him the mask from WrestleMania. And then he stopped to sign. Listen, what a fucking wrestler. He stopped to sign every sign, like autograph every sign. He was stopping for selfies with fans in the front row. He's just a babyface, bro. Just a fucking babyface. He's the best. I love him. Yeah, then the bell rang and I I hated it. It was Bloodline rules and these boys were throwing in fucking wrist locks. Yeah. Like, I don't think that's necessarily Cody's fault, but what is the fucking point of Solo Sikoa? I loved him in NXT. I thought the Street Champ was great, but what is the point of Solo Sikoa? Like, I just don't care or like him or want to see him wrestle. I just yeah. Anyway, as expected, the Guerrillas of Destiny show up. Tonga Loa goes to run him into the corner and misses the corner. He's got to be doing it on purpose at this point. Like, he's got to be doing it on purpose. Also, why would you not put the tag titles on GOD? Because now you're just actively sabotaging Jacob Fatu. Yeah, so he comes in, Tama Tonga comes in with not his tag team partner and fellow tag team champion. He comes in with Tonga Loa, and then they beat up Cody for a bit, and they hit Twist and Shout, and I popped because I love Twist and Shout. And then Kevin Owens comes in, and he just starts throwing hands, and then Randy Orton comes in, and then he's throwing RKOs about and power slams about, and the boys are all fucking hanging out, and then then they chase off GOD through the crowd, and then Cody looks to have it won, and then I got excited because Jacob Fatu showed up and hit a Whisper in the Wind, and then a fucking springboard, like triple jump moonsault that went nuts. He's the best wrestler in the world, and he's in the Bloodline, and I need the Bloodline story to finish now because I don't care about any of it. I don't. So when we have original Recipe Bloodline and probably Cody, and they're going to put his differences aside with Reigns to go into War Games against Jacob Fatu and GOD and Solo, and then the Bloodline story is going to go longer because then we're going to get Rock and Roman. Can we just then have that be Rock and Roman? Can Jacob Fatu be doing his own thing after Survivor Series, please? Can Jacob Fatu go in the Rumble and get like 9 eliminations and then wrestle LA Knight for the... I was just being like, when LA Knight's still be at? It's my world, he will be. Can he just wrestle LA Knight for the US title at Mania? Like, just fucking get Jacob Fatu out of here. Please, man. No, Jacob Fatu showed up. I got excited. And then he kind of leaves to let Solo do his thing. And then I didn't care again. And then obviously Roman's music hit. And then I cared again. And then he Superman punched. By the way, what a fucking reaction for Roman Reigns. What an insane reaction for Roman Reigns. Bro didn't even get that pop when he came back from cancer. Like, what do you mean? Can you imagine showing that to someone in 2019 and being like, this is for Roman Reigns coming back. This is because we missed Roman Reigns. This is because there was a worse Samoan Reign of Terror on our weekly shows than Roman Reigns. But what a fucking pop, and the loudest fucking ooh of all time. And then he spears Solo, and then Cody hits Solo with a crossroads, and then fucking never stopped staring at Roman the whole time, pinned him and won, and then the match was over. And I felt joy again because the match was over. I didn't have to ever watch it ever again because my god, it sucked. It sucked. People want to talk about why the Punk and Drew feud had logical story beats, but want to say nothing about Solo Sikoa terrorism. I hate you, motherfuckers. I see you, and I hate you. But that was SummerSlam. For my money, a good, fun show. Was it the best show of all time? Did it light the world on fire? No, not at all, but it definitely was not Stomping Grounds 2019. 57,000 people in it. Oh, and also Jelly Roll fucking chokeslammed Austin Theory, but I don't care. But no, it was a good show all around. I think all of the stories moved on in logical steps and directions. The Judgment Day is now done. The Judgment Day are now going to fracture into their own separate stories. We have Rhea on the warpath. We have Braun Breaker as the Intercontinental Champion. We have LA Knight as the US Champion. I don't think it was all hits. Like, I don't think the Nia Jax win was that good. Well, I never even talked about the powerbomb. Bayley walked her halfway across the ring and powerbombed her, and that was insane. I just don't think that. I don't really care about that. The main event made me actively question my love of professional wrestling. But we have Gunther as a World Heavyweight Champion. We have CM Punk wrestling again in as far as I'm aware, he didn't tear another fucking muscle in his body after one match. So, overall, this was a good show. I don't think it lit the world on fire, but all of the stories did move in the right direction. The Punk and Drew storyline, that still has breath in its lungs, and obviously there's now the wrinkle of Seth. What's Seth going to do next? Obviously, you have Gunther as a World Heavyweight Champion, and Priest and Finn on a collision course. We have Roman back, we have Braun Breaker as the champ. Like, overall, nothing about the show necessarily lit the world on fire until the very end. And I guess when Dom turned on Rhea as well, but it was a good show. A good, solid 7 out of 10. So that's it. That's my SummerSlam 2024 review. Let me know what you thought of the show in the comments down below. Let me know that I'm an idiot because I don't get Solo, because all matches are meant to be boring. Wrestling's meant to be boring. That's why Solo's so good, guys. Now, let me know what you thought of the show down below in the comments. If you're first time around here, subscribe. I talk about wrestling. Not very consistently, but I'm trying, guys. I really am. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this. Subscribe if you're new. Share it around with all your friends who like wrestling and go, that's a handsome man with good wrestling takes. And I'll see you next time.